So our next biotic factor we're going to look at that we need to control is pollination. So lots of flowers require insects to pollinate their flowers. However, with modern farming practices, we find the diversity of flower species has decreased. And this is a problem because flowers typically only are open with their rich nectar to provide substance for pollinating insects for short periods of time. So here's our nice diverse range of flowers. Um, they will not be all open at the same time. What you will find is that we only have some flowers open at any one time. So perhaps we have our blue flowers open first, and these provide pollen for our insects at one time of the year. So here's our big bumbly bee. Um, so they can visit them at one time of the year, and then as these are finishing, we have our next variety of flowers opening, providing pollen and nectar for our pollinating insects before the last ones die off. And then as these are finishing up, we find that we have our next variety of flowers are opening. And this continues our supply of nectar and pollen for our pollinating insects as the last flowers close and are finished. So to have a range of different flowering times is important to ensure a diversity and abundance of pollinating insects. Seed dispersal. So we have some really important animals that help disperse seeds, and they maintain the diversity and abundance of plants within an ecosystem. So we have elephants. Because they're not ruminants, they don't regurgitate and re-chew their food, so seeds have a much better chance of passing straight through them. A lot of seed-eating birds, like our blackbird, for example, are very important for spreading seeds from berries. Think about mistletoe as an example. And lots of monkey species are also very important for this. So we need to control disease as well. So this is a density dependent limiting factor. And we need to maintain the health of our population. So in a healthy population, this is an important role of removing weak individuals, and the remaining population will be successful. However, introduced disease can wipe out an indigenous species because it has no resistance. And this means it will suffer a population crash, as even healthy individuals are killed off. There's lots of examples where this has taken place, either deliberately as a biological control or accidentally. So things like the squirrel pox would be an introduced disease. And we need to make sure that we have strict biocontrols. to limit this. Things like disinfecting equipment, like fishing nets or wellies, or feeding or testing equipment, to prevent diseases being spread by humans and prevent the introduction of new diseases with introduced animals and plants. And our last one then is population control. So this is where we find that we have somehow exceeded our population, our carrying capacity. So we need to artificially reduce the population. So we might need to reduce population. We might go through things like culling. We might do something like trapping. We might remove individuals, so translocate them. There are other things that we can do. We can dig up invasive plants. We can apply pesticides. We can fence areas off to prevent them from getting to our protected species. Or we can reduce fertility. So this might be something like sterilizing cats, like feral cats or something like that. And that would protect our wild cats because it avoids breeding of feral cats, and it avoids us having hybridization as well. Alternatively, you might want to increase a population. And this is where we do things like captive breeding.